What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Jesse Spec YouTube video. Hang on, because today we're going racing with my Lotus Elise that is powered with a 2ZZ and makes a very angry noise. So without further ado, join me and let's dive right into it. All right, we're back in the warehouse. So as you can see here, two cars. My baby, the Chaser, is back. Super stoked about that. But today we're gonna work on the Lotus because I'm gonna be entering a Gymkhana race this weekend with that car. So I need to do some prep work just to be able to be a minimum, competitive, and also make the car a little bit more predictable to use and everything. So we're going to do a service. We're going to install a bucket seat that you can see on here, and I might check the alignment and a couple of things just to make sure everything's on point when we go for the race. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so let's get into the service. So this car has only 42,000 kilometers, so there isn't much maintenance to be done. However, we can see that the oil is pretty dark, so it needs to be changed. There's also half of the oil missing, so definitely time to do a service. And on these cars, what's special is you have an under tray, a flat under tray that you have to remove to even be able to see the engine. So here you see I removed the oil plug and I'm emptying all the oil, roughly 4.5 to 5 liters of oil, and it's very dark, so you can see that it's definitely needed to be changed, although it hasn't been driven very much. This car definitely, when you change oil in general, you absolutely have to make sure that you change it once a year just to protect the engine, because the oil does get older and it does deteriorate over time. Now I decided to put a greddy oil filter and an Apexi air filter that actually do both bolt-on and plug-in solutions.
Never changed. Apexi goodness, super long fins, as you can see. That will increase considerably the filterable surface, thus increasing airflow as well. So if you look here, much thinner, and this one is going to be much more, allowing more airflow and probably even better filtration characteristics. So let's install this. So as you can see, the filter is back together. I just need to put back the coupler hose between the intake throttle and the intake box, and then we can close everything up and fire up. There's some weird play going on here. There's a gap. As you can see, that's moving, so that's definitely not good for drivability. Let's fix that.
Okay, everything's back together, and now we can fire up for the first time. Make sure the oil pressure is good, and also put back on the under tray. I actually recommend to start the engine one time with the under tray still off, so you can catch any leaks if need be.
So let's see if the oil pressure light goes off. This one, huh? let's install a new seat. Tillett FRP seat. I'm going to remove just the driver's seat and put the bucket seat instead. So let's get that done.
Okay, the stock seat is out. Let's dummy fit the Tillett seat in there. So as you can see, I actually am obliged to install a bucket seat like this because I am simply too big for the Lotus, and that is something also I realized when I was racing the car. Even with such a minimalist kind of racing seat, I still couldn't come up with enough space for my legs. So honestly, the future between me and the Lotus might actually be shorter than I imagined.
So let me tell you how it went from there. So I got the service done, the car is running great, the seat is in the car, so now it's race time. So I had to load up the car and the truck because we're actually going to be doing a trade booth at that race. So it's an official slalom race in Switzerland, so it's the closest thing to Gymkhana that you can actually get. And I went there in order to first of all, the main goal was to make a booth actually with my company and with the second shop that is Hanshin Speed Shop in another part of Switzerland, Neuchâtel. And we made a trade booth during the whole weekend, so Saturday and Sunday. And basically to make it a bit more fun and also enjoy the weekend also with our customers and everything, we actually, both owners of both shops basically, we inscribed ourselves to the race, and that's why we're also going through the race like this. From there, we loaded up the trucks and we had to set up our tents and everything, and we built up our booth. And that's when the race weekend began, basically on Saturday morning, early morning. So how does this Gymkhana race work? You have basically you have 5 runs in one day. First of all, you have the reconnaissance, so that is like going through the whole track and checking it out and understanding the track. So there's no need to speed on that one, just go slowly through the whole track and try to figure out how it looks like. And then you have in the morning 2 trials. So it's not official race laps yet, there are not official sprints yet, but you have basically 2 trials to get the settings of your car dialed in. And you have 2 sprints. What's unique with slalom racing is, of course, you have to go do slaloms like this. But the other thing is, mostly your engine, you can warm it up, but the brakes and the tires are cold when you leave. So that makes it actually very interesting in the choice of products you use in terms of tires and of brakes, basically, because these will only warm up the faster you go, basically. So you got to really watch out with that in the beginning. So you get through your 2 trials, and in the afternoon then you have your 2 race runs. So I did this, and Loric, that is in the blue suit in this picture, has the blue STI, and he did it with his car. So maybe let me just walk you through the team of guys that were there today. So I had, of course, there's my Lotus driven by me, and there's a blue STI driven by Loric. Loric is actually the owner with his brother that you see that is in black on this picture. That is the owner of Hanshin Speed Shop in Neuchâtel in La Chaux-de-Fonds. This is basically a second shop of my company, and they're the managers there, and I'm the manager in Lausanne, and we basically decided to go together and have some fun also while we're working there on the weekend. And little bit to say about Loric's car. It's a STI with a 2.5 liter EG25, but with a fully built engine, so it's really driving very well, and it's a fast car as well. Loads of parts on it, lots of tuning done to it, so he had really good potential. The only difficult thing is, since it's a turbocharged engine, it ends up in a huge category, so they multiply by 1.7 times the cylinder size, basically, so the engine size. So that means that he was something in like 3.5 liter or more even. So he was in the biggest category with Porsches and everything, so he had very heavy competition in his. Whereas mine, fully stock Lotus Elise, only with wheels and a bucket seat in it, basically. I was hoping to go in a very unmodified category, but I ended up being forced into L4 as well. So that is actually a pretty advanced category because it's only for cars that have 2 seats. So like mostly race cars that are either empty behind, or cars like the Lotus, or that are pretty, how do you say, competitive sports cars. So I ended up in the 1.6 to 1.8 liter category because my Lotus has the 2ZZ, so it's exactly in the 1.8 liter category. That was a really awesome run. We both had a lot of fun, and we actually see lots of friends and customers during this weekend, so it was well worth the efforts to do both. So run and run a booth at the same time. Let me talk about one customer, Guillaume, who was on the race as well, and let me show you his beast of a machine. So this is a prototype car with single seater, but with a Hayabusa Dry-sump bike engine in it. So it's and a sequential gearbox. So it's super competitive car. And what I'm pretty happy about with my company is this car was actually mapped by myself on my dyno. And let's just enjoy a little clip of his car when he's running with it. He did a really good job as well driving it. He's still getting used to it. So let's enjoy that now. That was awesome, wasn't it? Okay, so now let's go through our runs. So just for a little parenthesis, I'm really sorry, but in this race they actually have very strict guidelines on how you fix your cameras in the car. So a regular suction cup will not do justice in their eyes, but I wasn't allowed to install it. So that really sucked, and it's basically for safety reasons. So in the end, I could not film any onboard footage this time, which was a huge pain. But anyway, let me walk you through a couple of specs of the race so you can get a little information on all of this. So Loric, he ran a really good race and was constantly improving. What you got to know is that was his first race ever, and he, like from the beginning to the end, he improved his times like roughly 30 seconds, if not more. Okay, and so here let's take a quick look at his run.
Le jaune faunier avec sa Subaru Impreza. On y a
Awesome. So that was a good run. Don't forget he is on Yokohama AD08 RSs. Those are by no means race tires. They are sporty tires for the street that are really good, but they are very light in comparison to what other people had. Many had A052s, or even many more had full-blown slicks. So that just shows that, you know, you cannot compete when somebody has slicks. You know, it's like 10 seconds faster just by having slicks. So anyway, he did his best, and yeah. So let's talk now about my first run. So here, let's watch it. As you can see, lots of squealing going on and understeer due to the fact that I actually had very high tire pressure. And that also really meant that I should have checked it more often, because actually when I looked at it at warm, I almost went to 2.4 bar, whereas this car is supposed to be at 1.8, something like that, hot. Okay, so I corrected that, and guess what? On the next run, so on that first run basically that you're seeing, this is a trial run. I did 3:30, something like that, not very good time. And then basically I started gaining confidence, and in the first race run I did 3 minutes 14, which is pretty good given the fact that I am also on AD08 RSs, and not slicks, not semi-slicks or anything, so it's still a good score. And then from there, it started raining, and then you can see here, this is the next run. And this was actually my best run, even if it was just raining a couple of seconds ago. My tires were warm, the engine was warm, and I actually managed to shave another second, even with the track being wet. So never give up, that's all I can say. And guess what? My efforts paid off, because in the end I ended up second in my category. So I'm really happy, because I did not expect to make any good scores on this thing, because it's how do you say, it's just a for fun race that we did, combining it with work as well. And I ended up being 6 seconds slower than the second one, but almost 18 seconds faster than the third one, etc. So I was actually pretty far in front. And the first one, his name is Marius Pasch. He is driving a wonderful Lotus Exige, but also with the 2ZZ, so it was actually a pretty fair battle. But he had much better tires as well. So he had the A052 Yokohamas, so I'm definitely not making that mistake again and cheaping out on the tires. That's something definitely is not going to happen anymore. And so very happy, got this trophy and second place in my category, which, yeah, I mean, it makes you feel good, I guess. But you know what made me feel even much better is the fact that so many friends and children and family members came and watched me during the race and encouraged me, and it was really, that's like the highlight for me. And also, you know, all my friends, also my colleagues working together on the booth and everything. Such an awesome vibe, awesome motorsports weekend feeling, all together having a good time, and you know, doing a really good thing for the sport as well. What I really enjoyed is I saw the sparks in the little kids' eyes that you can see on the pictures here, that really got to see for the first time a real race. And on top of that, they also were like, wow, that's such a awesome thing that people who actually race still exist, you know, with all this anti-noise. And in Switzerland, it's a very anti-motorsports country, at least from a government perspective. We're not even really allowed to have circuits anymore. So although I heard maybe rules are changing now, but it's really like doing motorsports in Switzerland is so complicated, and you have all these extreme harsh political groups, let's say on the green side, that are really trying to destroy this whole thing. So I must say, like, when I saw how the kids reacted to all that and were encouraging me, I also heard their voices in the video when I'm driving by. Somebody showed me a video of them totally hyped and everything. That makes me actually much happier than just getting the prize, you know. So anyway, this is really, I want to close this video like that, but that really inspired me to do more, and I want to push further in motorsports. And I am so grateful and happy that it actually seems to inspire others. So that's really cool. And anyway, this is getting a bit cheesy, but anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I want to thank everybody who came by and helped me and encouraged me during this weekend. Also from a work perspective, all the photographers, the people from the race and everything. Many thanks to all of you, and thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you want to see more motorsports content like this with more onboard footage next time, I promise you that. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment in the comments below. I want to see your guys' feedback, and if anybody has any videos or photos of the event, make sure to hit me up. I would love to have more footage of the car, see how it reacts from outside. And anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will close this one here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.